And before we get started, Damon, how are you doing? Good to see you.
Oh my God, what an honor. It's, I call you my boy Benny. Like, we don't even know each other, but I call
I'm
you
your
my
boy. I'm your boy.
Oh yeah, no, your language hacking series. I put all my friends on it. I'm like, if you want to actually learn, like, you got to do the language hacking with Benny Lewis. So for real, I'm happy to be here.
That's amazing. Well, you and I'll have to get in touch after this. It'll be great to have you on the language hacking podcast.
Would love to
reach out to you.
Cool.
Oh, so I looked up some of your stuff. It's really great. I mean, the way you speak so many languages. What I wanted to ask was, are most of them or all of them European languages, or was there some Chinese, Arabic, Japanese?
Yep. So I reached basic conversational in Mandarin. I'm trying to reactivate that. I've also got American Sign Language. And
I saw that.
That's one I'm actively using here. I've recently just moved to Austin, Texas.
Wow.
And I've dabbled in a bunch of others. So I've put serious time into the likes of Quechua. I put a bit of time into Japanese. I did just a day's worth of Indonesian.
Okay.
And then other non-European languages. I've done some Arabic. I had a project for that.
Oh, great.
I've done some Hungarian, and but those I wouldn't say I've maintained to a good level. So
okay.
Mostly European languages.
If you have some familiarity with Japanese, this is going to be sounding very familiar.
Okay.
Because the word order is exactly the same.
Interesting.
You know, coffee table on is. Isn't it like that?
Like Yoda, we must speak.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And what about Damon?
Yeah, Damon, I'm going to be probably completely lost then. I've dabbled in many languages, mainly, the European, Indo-European ones, Portuguese, Spanish, French, the easy ones. I'm right now in Berlin studying some German. I dabbled in Russian for maybe 2-3 months, but Hindi, Japanese, this word order, coffee table is on. I don't know anything about that, but
great. That's even better. That's the rule here. You should start from zero. But tell me, how did you get around to deciding upon Hindi? Were you asked what language would you like to do or something like that?
Well, for me personally, I was just down to do anything. I think the options were Hebrew, they were Hindi, but Benny over here studied all of them. I think this was the one that Benny, correct me if I'm wrong, like this was the one that you had the least amount of experience in.
Yes,
okay,
that's right. I have visited India, but I never put any effort into learning Hindi. I actually did get to use some Portuguese while I was in Goa. A very old style of Portuguese, but I wanted it to be a language. I wanted to genuinely have zero experience. So a lot of their other languages, I've at least got some a bunch of phrases and stuff. So with this, I'm genuinely starting from absolutely nothing.
Great. So if you were asked, was there a reason for choosing Hindi? What would you say in a couple of words? Any special reason?
I have visited India and I absolutely loved it. It is an amazing country with a very rich history. I would love to go back to it, and I'd love to be able to speak to people who don't have any English. So that would be my main goal, to at least interact with those deeper into the country someday.
Yeah, I'm asking because when you see what is on offer, like even on your Fluent in 3 months site, you have a whole menu, so many languages, and Hindi is the great absent, le grand absent, as they say. So I often wonder, because many people think that English is enough, in India. And you can, of course, make a short list of reasons not to learn Hindi. English is enough, and there are so many different languages. How can you learn all of them? So let's just stick to English. But you can also make a long list of good reasons for learning Hindi. And since
Yeah,
you've
and like I
traveled in
said,
India,
I've visited India, and obviously I was able to do like everything that I wanted to do as a tourist in English. But then there was one experience. I took a train going deep into the country, and this sweet little girl was going through the train singing songs, and she sang me a song, and I captured it on camera. And
ooh, I'd love to see it someday.
yeah, and I uploaded it. It's on maybe my Flickr account or something.
Okay.
And my readers told me that it was a song from a Bollywood movie, and she
Yeah.
was singing "Foreigner, Foreigner, Don't Go Home." And just hearing the
Ah,
story behind, at the time, I just thought, "Oh, this sounds really sweet." But just
ah,
hearing that, and that kind of reminds me, another reason I would love to learn Hindi is to get exposure to Bollywood. This
okay.
ginormous aspect of like movies and this cultural window that there's
Yeah.
so much happening
Yeah.
that as a Westerner I'm completely closed off from, that I would love to
Okay.
be able to access someday.
So I don't have to do any convincing.
Definitely not.
I was going to tell you all about Bollywood. Now I don't have to. The song she was singing obviously had the word Pardesi, Pardesi. I don't know if you have any
Oh, it was
memories
too
of
long
what the
ago,
word was.
but it most likely did, and I'll show you the video at some
Yeah,
stage.
that's the poetic word for foreigner.
Hmm.
Desi, Desi is from the same country. So, in fact, many South Asians, from the subcontinent, Indians, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, Nepalis, especially when they're abroad, like in the US, they call themselves Desis.
Desi.
We're from back home, same back home,
Mhm.
So that kind of, makes the borders less like a wall.
Hmm.
And
And then the word for foreigner, what was it again?
Pardesi.
Bardesi.
Pardesi.
With a P, Pardesi,
Pardesi. Okay.
which is the opposite
Yeah.
of Desi, outside the des,
Hmm.
And Swades is one's own country. And that sounds like French, doesn't it? Soi.
Hmm.
Doesn't that sound like French, Damon?
Yeah, chez soi. I mean, at one's place. Yeah, chez soi.
Yeah.
Swadesi.
So that's Sanskrit, Swadesh is one's own country, and Pardes is outside. So right now you are Pardesis, both of you, but once you get going in Hindi, you can be Desis.
We'll see. We'll see about that.
We'll certify that.
Yeah.
So have you any idea already about how, what the Michel Thomas method is? Have you seen anything?
From my experience, I was told it was mainly an auditory way of learning, which I think will be interesting because, to be honest, I've always considered myself a visual learner. Like big pictures, big good design. Like even this, I put Hindi and like I need like somewhat good design. I don't know if you can see this. Like I just, for me, for it to click, I need some sort of like colors, and I need the font to be good. So I'm interested to see how this will work out for me.
Yeah, it's a bit of an extremist method. Michel Thomas was very much, he didn't say don't read. He said, but if you want to learn how to speak, then get down to speaking. I think that's something like what Benny often insists upon. Speak from day one. Is that your motto, Benny?
That's my mantra. Yep.
Mantra. He knows
Mantra.
some Hindi words.
Yeah.
That's his mantra. Okay. You know the word mantri, which is the minister, which is from religious vocabulary, actually, as a minister in a church. That became the word Mandarin. The word Mandarin in English comes from mantri, which comes from mantra. So the Mandarin is supposed to be the guy who has some, magic formula. He knows.
Interesting. So Mandarin would be the language of secret formula, or
yeah, Mandarin is Sanskrit actually.
All right.
Wow.
So yeah, I like to use the metaphor of like if you want to learn how to ride a bicycle, then you must get onto the bicycle, and I'm the guy who's the coach who's helping you, holding your bicycle, getting you to start pedaling, and letting you learn it rather than studying the bicycle and center of gravity and why it doesn't fall. And, there's a big difference between learning a language and studying a language. I don't have to tell both of you all this, that. So Michel Thomas is like, let's learn this. Let's get into the water and learn to swim. Let's get onto the dance floor, learn to dance right now, immediately. Speak. Don't look at, verb conjugations and all that. So that's what it is about. Now, how do we go about it? If you've listened to any Michel Thomas course of any language, you'll find that in the recording, you have a teacher and 2 students. Did you notice that? Have you seen that yet or not yet?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's a man and a woman. I mean, there's a male student and a female student, so that there's some variation of voices. And there's the teacher. So the person using the Michel Thomas course becomes the 3rd student in the class. Again, it's like an intimate little group. You feel you're sitting with your teacher and 2 classmates. So that's the whole, ambiance, and and it's all about, it's not about telling you how to say something and asking you to repeat. He avoids that. He gives you some keywords. It's like Lego. So he gives you the pieces and tells you the rules about putting them together and asks you to put it together. Like if I say, if you want something, the keyword, the piece you need is the word wanted. That's how Hindi does it. Coffee wanted. And the word is chahiye. So I give you a word, chahiye, and I explain that you say coffee wanted. Coffee wanted? That's the question. And you can answer, yes, coffee wanted. And the word for coffee is coffee. And then I'll ask you, so how do you think you should say, or you should ask, coffee wanted? If you know the word chahiye. Can you tell me that?
Wait, sorry, jahiye was wanted or jahiye was?
Chahiye means wanted, and that's the word you use to say I want, you want, he wants. It works for everybody. Like falloir in French, il me faut, il te faut, il vous faut.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bit like faut, and you can or you need not add to me, il me faut, il te faut, il vous faut, but you can just say café faut, something like that, coffee wanted.
Like
So try that. Say that in Hindi. It's a 2-sentence word.
Coffee jahiye, no?
Again?
Coffee jahiye.
Exactly. Coffee. It's a cha, not a ja, actually.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Chahiye.
Chahiye.
Coffee chahiye. And if I'm asking the question, I could say, coffee chahiye? Coffee wanted? And you could say, haan. Yes, haan. Can you say haan?
Ha.
Yeah, it's nasal. That's one of the
Ha.
novelties. You have nasal vowels in Hindi, lots of them. French has some, like etc. Hindi has more, like and sometimes, and also. So that becomes a problem sometimes, and you have to work on it. Okay. So coffee chahiye. Okay. So
Could you say jahiye coffee?
No, I forgot to tell you. The verb is at the end.
Okay.
It's like Japanese. It's, Yoda language. Your neighbor you shall love, or your enemies you shall kill, or whatever. The verb is at the end, and everything practically gets turned around. So prepositions become postpositions. You see? Mm-hmm. So if you want to say the coffee is on the table, that's the order in English. But if you've done some Japanese, you would know that the order would be coffee table on is. And Hindi is like that. You see? So
wait, should we be taking notes, or is this all?
No. This is part of the Michel Thomas method that you're not supposed to write anything.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not supposed to. That's the whole thing, principle. Let's begin with something that you can immediately use and uh, get into the ambiance, like hey and wow. What do you think? What's your opinion? Do you think that these words, learning these words in different languages, makes sense? Wow. If you love something, you immediately know this word and say wow. Or if you're surprised, you can say hey. So let me tell you how to say, express surprise. Hey. And the word is arre. So
Arre.
arre.
Arre. With
Arre.
the trill R.
With a rolled R. Arre.
Mm-hmm. Arre.
Are any of those vowels nasalized?
No, this time there's no nasalization here.
Okay.
And if it's admiration, like wow, then it's va.
Va.
Yes, va.
Va, not wa. Va.
The V and W difference we can't do. I mean, no Indian language, neither Sanskrit nor modern Indian languages make the distinction between a V and a W, which is why when you have a caricaturing of an Indian accent, you have the Indian guy in a movie saying, very, very, thank you very, very much. The V sounds like a W, or the W sounds like a V, like a V, I allow you, or, vest and west, we can't tell the difference. So in any Indian language, it doesn't matter whether you're pronouncing it like a V or a wa, va, wa, comes to the same thing. So you can say va or wa.
Was that like ah, or was it ah, like with a
There is an H. There is an H. Va.
Va.
Okay.
with a V. Va. And if you go to a music concert, you find that when there is something, surprising that the singer does, or the musician, the audience participates and, kind of applauds, not clapping, but with a va. And it's the done thing. I mean, it's not supposed to be disturbing the concert, but the musician himself expects people to, appreciate and say va. So here's something you can do immediately when you see something nice, or, and say va. Or if it's surprising, you can say, what can you say, Benny?
Arre.
Got it. Perfect.
Do we know if hooray comes from that? Like hooray?
No, it doesn't actually. No.
No. Okay.
No. It is originally from Sanskrit, arre. And in fact, there is also a feminine gender. And if you're saying, hey, to a girl, it could change. So it's not from hooray. No. Okay. Let's imagine that this happened to me in Switzerland. My phone kind of slipped out and fell off in a bus, and I didn't know, and I got off. And this was in the German-speaking part of Switzerland near Zurich. And then the driver went up and down the bus and checked and found this phone and came out and kind of shouted out to all the people leaving. It was the terminus, And he asked, like in Swiss German, "Wem ist das Handy?" That's Swiss German. Whose is this handy? That's a smartphone. And obviously I didn't have the slightest idea of what was going on. And then I saw people kind of checking their pockets and looking at him and carrying on. And then I checked my pockets and I said, hey, I don't have my phone anymore. So I knew it was, he had found it. So when he finds the phone, he can say, what's this? Okay. And the word for this in Hindi is ye.
Ye.
Yes, ye. And the way he has to say this is, this what is. And the word for what is, these interrogative words are always K words always begin with a K.
Mhm.
In French, also you have the K sound often with a Q. In English, you call them the WH words, don't you? Who, where, what, why, which. In Hindi, it's always a K. And the word for what is kya. Can you repeat that? Kya.
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 Yeah. And the word for is, the verb to be, is a bit like French. In French, it's est, isn't it? est. In Hindi, it's hai.
Hai.
Yes. So what was the word for this, beginning with a Y?
Ye.
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 Yeah.
And Benny, what was the word beginning with a K, which meant what?
Kya.
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 And Damon, what was is in Hindi?
Hai.
Hai.
Hai. Hai.
So can you put it all together, Benny, and ask this what is? Benny?
Yeah. Yeah. Kya hai?
Perfect. Very good. Be surprised. Ye kya hai?
Kya hai?
What
Yeah,
is
kya
this?
hai?
Ye kya hai? And well, if he has somebody next to him, he could say, well, this is a phone. And the word for phone is phone. So Damon, can you say, this is a phone?
Oh, this is a phone.
Yes, but the same order, you take out the kya, the question word, and put in the answer.
Phone. Kya hai? No, you said take
You
up
have to
kya.
you have to find this phone is.
This phone is ye. Phone. Hai.
Perfect. Very good.
Okay, good.
So you see, the pattern of this question and the answer is exactly the same. Unlike English, what is this? This is a phone. It's not the same order, but in Hindi, you just pull out the question word and stick in the answer. Like this, who is, this John is. You know, ye kya hai? Ye phone hai. So what he had asked when he got off the bus was, whose phone is this? You know, and the word for whose is kiska.
Mm.
Okay, Benny, can you repeat that?
Kiska.
Kiska. Kiska is again the K word, whose. And try and work out, Damon,
Mm-hmm.
whose phone is this?
Ye kiska hai?
Very good. Whose is this? And Benny, could you make that longer and say, this whose phone is?
Yeah, phone kiska hai?
Very good. I wasn't expecting that because you said, whose phone is this? And you could also say, this phone, ye, this whose phone is, or this phone, whose is. Both are possible.
Okay.
Both are possible. Both are correct. So which one did you say?
Yeah, phone kiska hai?
Good. Ye phone kiska hai? This phone whose is? And that's when I realized what had happened, and I ran back and I said, it's mine. It's mine. And the word in Hindi for mine and my is the same. Unlike French or English, you know, in French it's mon and mien, isn't it? You know that.
Right.
And the word for my is mera. Mera.
Mera.
Mera.
Mera.
So this mine is, it's mine. This is mine. You want to work that out, Benny?
Yeah, mera hai.
Good. Ye mera hai. Thank
So
you.
if it were this is my phone, could you also say ya mera phone hai or ya
You worked
phone
it
mera
out.
hai?
You're already making up your own sentences. Good.
It's important. It's important to do.
Yeah, that's this is how it works with Michel. You got the pieces of the Lego and you're, you know, putting them together in your own way, which is great. Ye phone mera hai. Ye kiska hai. this is my phone. If you have a this in English, then you have to have a ye. But if the English has it, it's mine, then you drop it. You have nothing in Hindi. So dropping the it, how would you say it's mine? Benny?
Mera hai.
That's it. That's enough. Mine is. Mera hai. If it's this, then you say ye mera hai. And if it's not yours, then the word for not and no is the same in Hindi, unlike English or French. No and ta, isn't it? So, and that word is nahi.
Nahin.
Nahi. When you speak fast, it becomes nahi. It can become nahi, 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 nahi. No, nahi, 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 nahi. But if you really say it like no, then it is nahi with the H.
Nahin.
And where should we put this not? This mine not is. So the nahi has to be just before the verb. Just before the verb to say it's not the case. Okay? Like I Hindi not speak, or this phone mine not is. Okay? So nahi. This is not mine. That's a bit challenging. Who wants to? Come on, Damon, try and work this out. This is not mine.
Getting warm in here.
This mine not is.
This mine not is. So we still need the this.
Yes.
Ye mera ne hai.
Good. You got it.
Wow. Okay.
Ye mera nahi hai.
Nahi hai.
Yeah. Benny, can you say that too?
Ye mera nahi hai.
Yes. Ye mera nahi hai. A word you hear a lot in India is, oh, I see. And it works exactly like bon in French with all its different meanings. Ah bon. Oh, I see. Really? Ah bon? And that word is acha.
Ata.
With a ch. Acha.
Acha.
Now, this is one of the specialties of Hindi, that you have these aspirated consonants like a bha and a tha and a dha, which you have to work on. It's not the same. A dha is not a da. A bha with an H is not a ba. You know, ba is not ba ba. Can you hear the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah. So cha, as in cha cha cha, is not cha. You tell the difference? You can tell? Cha, it's breathy. So acha is the word for good. Can you repeat that, Damon?
Acha. Cha.
So how would you say, I see? Ah bon.
Acha.
Exactly.
Acha.
Exactly.
Yeah, these breathy languages. I had this issue with Brazilian Portuguese. The air flow, like you got to work on your diaphragm, the breath coming through.
Yeah.
Exactly. Cha. Acha. So he said, it's yours, as he returned it to me, as he gave it to me. And the word for you and your, notice in English, your is like you with an R added on, isn't it? You can even have an RS, like yours. In Hindi, it's a bit similar. The word for you is aap, A-A-P, aap. Aap. And yours is a bit longer. You add something like an apostrophe S, you know, like John and John's car. And that is aapka.
Aapka.
Aapka means yours or your. Okay. So how would you say your phone, these two words together, Damon?
Your phone. Aapka phone.
Of course, aapka phone.
Aapka phone.
And Benny tried to say, this is your phone.
ये आपका phone है.
Wonderful. You're fluent.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you can be fluent in one word. Like if you want to say what, you can say it fluently, or you can say it not fluently.
As long as the conversation ends right there, then I'm fluent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fluent with one word. Acha. Like you can really sound fluent speaking only this word.
Mm.
You know, there's a way of saying it fluently. So, acha, aapka hai. Okay. If you had forgotten something else, like this is bad news, like European languages, everything is masculine or feminine. Okay, so it's like, you know, petit and petite in French, and you have to know, and sometimes there's no easy way of knowing what is masculine and what is feminine. So, mera was actually masculine. When you said, ye mera phone hai, it's because phone was masculine. And if it was, I don't know, a pencil, it happens to be feminine, then it would be meri.
Meri.
Yes. So what's the rule? Can you draw a conclusion?
Maybe A is a masculine ending and E is a feminine ending.
Exactly. That's a big rule in Hindi. This happens to be a possessive adjective, isn't it? Like my. But even if it was like an adjective like green or black or small or big, you have the same rule, you know, like small, petit, masculine would be, if it's chota, then what would be feminine for small, Benny?
What's the masculine for small?
Chota.
Chota. So choti.
Exactly. If yellow is pila, like pila phone, a yellow phone. And how would you say a yellow pencil if it's feminine, Damon?
Pili.
Pili what?
Pili phone. Phone.
The phone was
Or
masculine.
pencil. Pencil.
Again, a yellow pencil again.
Pili or Bili?
Pili.
Bili pencil.
With a P.
Okay. Pili pencil.
Exactly. Pili pencil. Yeah, the P in Hindi is not a breathy one like English. Would you agree that the English P is a bit breathy? Like a pen.
Pen, pencil. Yeah,
plosive. Yeah, pencil, pen. There is a bit of breathiness in the P in English, isn't there? Pen. Whereas an Indian saying the same word would say pen.
Pen.
You see the difference? Slight difference. Pen. Pencil. You know? Because we do have a breathy P also, but that's different. So that could be another word. So if it's not breathy, it's a pa, pa, pa. If it is, then it's a pa. Okay? Yeah, like in English you would say coffee. You know, with the first letter is a bit breathy, don't you think? Coffee, coffee.
Coffee, yeah.
But when an Indian pronounces this, how would you do that?
Coffee.
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 Yes, without the breathiness. Coffee, coffee.
Coffee.
Yes. You see? So it's a nuance, it's a slight difference, but it is there. So, yeah, I mean, in European languages, when you have an A ending, like Claudia and Claudio, it sounds like the R should be feminine, doesn't it?
Typically.
You have to remember that in Hindi, it's the opposite. You don't have like ragazza is the girl and, you know, ragazzo is the boy. If it's R, it's typically masculine, and the corresponding feminine word is usually the same with the E ending. So if a boy is ladka, then Benny, can you tell me how to say a girl?
Larki.
Exactly. Oh, wonderful. The way you said the ra, it was exactly, sorry. Oh, why is this phone ringing?
Sounds like R2D2's trapped in your phone.
Yes. There was a difficult sound in ladka, and you got it right. Exactly. I thought it was really difficult to say ladka. Ra. You know, it's a flapped.
Mm-hmm.
And you said it exactly as it should be. Ladka. Damon, try that.
Ladka.
Oh, yes. Wonderful. I have such problems trying to get people to say this. Ladka is boy and a girl is?
Ladki.
Ladki. Exactly. And if my daughter is Meri Beti is my daughter. It's all feminine. David, can you tell me how I should say my son?
Mera bata.
Only the ending
Beta.
should change.
Mera beta. Mera beta.
Okay. Do you? Why does this happen to happen? Okay. This is my son. I don't know if you remember the word for this, Benny.
Okay, so ye mere beta hai.
What was the word you said for my, again in the masculine?
Mira.
Yes. So say the sentence again.
Ye mera beta hai.
Good. Ye mera
Mera
beta hai.
beta
David, can
hai.
you say that too?
Yeah. Ye mera beta hai.
Good. And the T, there are some difficult sounds in Hindi. There's this retroflex T. Retroflex means hard. You retroflex your tongue, backwards. Da. Can you do this, Benny, too?
Da.
Oh, perfect. Wow. You're really good at this. Da. Yes, because this is a sound you don't have in French or English. Beta.
Beta.
And let's see if you can work out, this is not my son. Damon, you want to try that? Where will you put the not? Nahi. Damon?
Right before the verb, right?
Yes.
At the end.
Yeah.
This is not my son.
Yeah.
Ye mera beta nie hai.
What was the word for no or not?
Nahi.
Yes, nahi.
So ne.
Nahi.
Ne was it short? Nahi. Okay. Ye mera beta nahi hai.
Good. Benny, you too? Same sentence. This is not my son.
Ye mera beta nahi hai.
Good.
Nahi hai. Yeah.
And try the faster version with nahi.
Ye mera beta nahi hai.
Nahi hai.
Nahi hai.
Yes. There's always a faster version in every language. Like je ne sais pas becomes what in French?
Je sais pas.
Je sais pas. So you have that, Okay. The word for whose was whose phone? Kiska.
Kiska.
Okay. And how will it change if it was something feminine?
Kiski.
Exactly. You worked it out. So if it's a bicycle, blocking the way and I'm irritated and I want to say, whose bicycle is this? Have you got all the words for this, Benny?
Is bicycle the same? Or
Cycle.
bike?
Sorry, I should have told you.
Cycle. Just cycle. Okay. Kiski cycle hai.
Very good. Yeah, in fact, you thought about dropping the ye, which is a good idea. Whose cycle is it? What you just said was, whose cycle is it?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Damon, if you wanted to put in the this, whose cycle is this? Add a word in the beginning.
Okay, so ye, right? ये किसकी cycle है?
Perfect.
ये किसकी cycle है?
Yeah, sound angry about it and say it again.
ये किसकी cycle है?
Perfect.
That felt better. That felt better.
Sounding perfectly fluent. ये किसकी cycle है? You know, and this guy comes along and, you know, looking guilty. And he says, it's mine. It's mine. How would he say that? Damon?
ये मेरी cycle है. Like that.
Once more.
ये this मेरी cycle है.
Perfect. This is my bicycle. Yeah. But if you wanted a shorter answer, like it's mine, Benny, can you make it shorter? Just 2 sentences.
ये मेरी है.
Yes, this is mine. And make it shorter still. It's mine.
मेरी है.
That's it. That's enough, in fact. Mine is. Meri hai. Meri hai. Sorry. You can, you know, people often ask how to say thank you, sorry, excuse me in India. And I think the best answer is for these words is just say it in English and you would be understood in every state in India. Sorry, thank you, rather than trying out, you know, the correct word, which is often the, you know, very scolaire, the school word, you know, dhanyavad or thank you is not that much used as just thank you in English. Okay, so don't hesitate in throwing in English words, and we all do. If seeing the bicycle, he wanted to say, "What's this?" Just like the driver in the bus said about the phone, the word for this is ye. The word for what is
क्या?
kya.
क्या?
And the word for is what?
है.
Hai. Okay, so Benny, can you say in an irritated voice at the bicycle, "What's this?"
ये क्या है?
Ye kya hai?
ये क्या है?
Yes. And Damon, can you say, "Whose is this?"
Whose is this?
Yes. Whose is
ये किसकी है?
kiski?
किसकी? ये किसकी है?
Ye kiski hai? Whose is it? Okay. And the word for your or yours. What was the word for you?
Up.
And then we added something to make it your. What did we add? Ka.
Ka.
And it became aapka.
आपका.
And knowing that bicycle is feminine, Damon, how would you say it's yours?
आपकी है.
Exactly. Aapki hai.
आपकी है.
Yes, aapki hai. And Benny, make a longer sentence. This is your bicycle.
ये आपकी साइकिल है.
Perfect. Good. ये आपकी cycle hai. If you wanted to add a so in the beginning, the word for so is to.
दो.
To. When you're hesitating, so what should we eat? You say to. Okay. So Damon, say that again with a so. So this is your bicycle.
तो ये yours cycle है. आपकी cycle है. Okay. तो ये आपकी cycle है.
Very good. तो ये आपकी cycle है.
Cycle है.
And the word for I see, which is the same as the word for good. Very breathy word. What was it?
Cha.
Benny, what do you think? What was that word?
Not sure.
Acha.
Acha.
Make it breathier, more breathy.
Acha.
That's perfect. Acha. So now make a longer sentence. I see. So this is your bicycle.
Oof.
It's getting longer and longer.
Oh, shit.
अच्छा तो ये आपकी साइकिल है.
Wonderful. Great. Damon, can you say that again?
अच्छा तो ये आपकी साइकिल है.
The intonation would be like, oh, it's yours. So like say it like yours is more important in this sentence. Once more.
Okay. अच्छा तो आपकी साइकिल है. No, आपकी साइकिल है. आपकी is yours, right?
अच्छा तो ये आपकी साइकिल है.
साइकिल है.
Can you
Yeah.
repeat it like that?
अच्छा तो आपकी साइकिल है.
Yeah, you
ये
drop
आपकी
ye.
साइकिल है.
You can't drop the ye. Because then it means, oh, so it's your bicycle. When it's an it in English, there's nothing in Hindi. When you have a this in English, you have ye. Okay? How would you deny it, Benny? This is not my bicycle.
ये
My word for my was mera, meri.
मेरी ये मेरी साइकिल ये है.
What was the word for not?
नहीं.
Nahi. Say that again. No, this is not my cycle. In fact, you could begin with a no, which is the same word. So you'll have this word twice in the same sentence. No, this is not my bicycle.
नहीं ये forget mine again. My brain's
choose between
Meri.
mera and meri.
नहीं ये मेरी साइकिल नहीं है.
Good. Damon also again.
नहीं ये मेरी साइकिल नहीं है.
Good. Did I give you the word for son and daughter? Beta. Which one is this? Is this the daughter?
The son.
This is the son. So, Benny, what's the daughter?
Betty.
Beti. That's it. Beta, beti. This is not my son, Benny.
ये मेरा बेटा नहीं है.
That's it. Good. And Damon, make that feminine. This is not my daughter.
ये मेरी बेटी नहीं है.
Good. Perfect. It's working well. ये मेरी बेटी नहीं है. Now, we learned ye, which means this. But good news. Ye is not just this. It can also mean he or she or these, plural, or this or these, or they, if it's nearby. You see? And if it's far away or absent, which is far away, you have to say wo and not ye. This and that.
Ye and wo.
Yes, all this while we've been saying this phone and this bicycle. Now we're learning that. So the difference is ye and wo. And you pronounce it either like a V or with a W. Say that. What's the new word?
Wo.
Yes. Benny?
Wo.
Yes. So that is my son. Try that, Benny.
वो मेरा बेटा है.
Yes. वो मेरा बेटा है. And negative, Damon? That's not my son?
वो मेरा बेटा ये नहीं है.
वो मेरा बेटा नहीं है. That's it. If there are two of them, then I have to tell you how to make a plural. The "a" ending, masculine, becomes "a" everywhere. So my son will become my sons. If "a" becomes "a," what's the plural of beta?
Better.
Yes, exactly. Bete. Bete is sons. Does that remind you of pizza and pizze
Mm-hmm.
in Italian? Except that I think in Italian it's the rule for the feminine. In Hindi, this is the rule for masculine. You know, beta will become bete in the plural. So my son was mera beta. Benny, how would you say my sons in the plural?
मेरा बेटा.
Both endings should be the same.
मेरे बेटे.
That's it. The A is like cafe. A.
ए.
So, Damon, say that with the correct pronunciation. These are not my sons. And these is the same word. This time it's close by.
ये मेरे बेटे नहीं है.
That's it. Except that I haven't told you that these are is slightly different. What you said sounded correct, but actually there's a slight difference between this is and these are in Hindi. You have to nasalize the hai to make it hai. Hai. Can you do that, Damon?
हैं.
Yes, that's the plural of hai. Simply. I don't know if you can really tell the difference. Some people can't nasalize, even in India. In South Indian languages, you don't have nasalized vowels, and they end up not nasalizing the plural, but we can still understand, you know, because the difference is not so great, but it's best if you can. Okay. Juta is a shoe. So Damon, what would be the plural?
Juta shoe.
Yeah.
So jute.
Jute.
Jute. Jute.
Those are not my shoes. Try that. Far away.
Those are not my shoes. Wo mere bit. No, bit. Ju hai.
Juta was a shoe
Juta.
in singular. Make
So
it
those
plural.
are not my shoes.
Yes.
I can do it. Those are not my jute. Okay. Wo mere jute nahi hain.
Perfect.
Wow.
Good. Those are not my shoes. Okay. Bacha is a child. And what would be the plural, Benny?
Bache.
Bache. Just like we had beta, bete, juta, jute. Bacha would be bache.
Bache.
So singular plural wo is the same. Say those, no, let's do these. These are not my children.
ये मेरे what was the child again?
Bacha was a child.
Bacha. ये मेरा बच्चे नहीं है.
Good. Now you're ending, the A is sounding a bit like cafe in Italian. It should sound like cafe in French. Bache.
Bache.
Yes.
Yeah.
So do that again. These are not my children.
ये मेरे बच्चे नहीं हैं.
Yes. A lot of nasalization there. Good. Damon, can you say that again? These are not my children.
ये मेरे बच्चे ये मेरे बच्चे नहीं हैं.
Nahi hai. Now, there are some lost kids, and the police is asking, whose children are these? We saw whose for the phone, for the bicycle. The word for whose was
Kiska,
good, or feminine,
kiski,
or masculine plural.
kiske.
Exactly. The A was a bit in your, make it improve that.
Kiske,
Kiske.
kiske.
That's much better. Whose kids are these? Ask me.
Kiske bache, ye kiske bache hain.
Good. Damon, again?
ये किसके बच्चे हैं? What'd you say?
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
ये किसके बच्चे हैं? ये किसके बच्चे हैं?
Ye kiske bache hain.
Yeah. These whose children are.
I'm actually just curious, real quick, what is the feminine plural ending then? Just to like wrap it all up.
Ah.
Like just what is the last sound?
So if it's a noun, beti, it has to become betiyan.
Got it.
Betia.
So
Yeah.
what do we conclude? What's the rule? The E becomes
Yeah.
nasal.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the rule.
Betia.
Betiyan.
Oh, and then, okay.
It's a sari. You know, women wear saris. Sari. Sari. Can you say sari?
Sari.
Yeah,
Sari.
that's a flapped sound, sari. So, Benny, what's the plural of sari?
Sariya.
Yes, sariyan.
Oh.
But the adjective, the feminine adjective, doesn't change in the plural, strangely enough.
Hmm.
Mera will become mere. Mera beta, my son, singular. Plural, mere bete. Singular, my daughter was, what was it?
Meri beti. No, mera beta.
No, a daughter.
No, meri bete. No, beti.
Yes. Say my daughter.
Meri beti.
Yes. And if you want to make it plural, my daughters.
Meri betia.
Yes. So that's what you have to remember, that Mary will not change into Mariya. That would be Punjabi. Punjabi does that, but Hindi doesn't. Meri betiya.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, to end, maybe I'll ask Damon to say, these are not my daughters. How would you say that?
These are not my daughters. ये मेरी बेटियां नहीं हैं.
Perfect. I mean, you're really good at this. So,
We're polyglots.
in 3 months, what would you do? If you had 3 months of Hindi, you would be native speakers.
Possibly.
I mean, take one look at me. I could totally pass off as an Indian, you know?
Absolutely. So that problem we don't have.
Yeah, I'm actually curious. Again, I said I was more of a visual learner and I'm always taking notes. This was probably the first time I've never taken notes. And, you know, I retained the language. I'm curious to see in a few days if I'm still saying these are not my daughters, you know?
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, I don't think there is any magic method. I mean, when you do like hours and hours, a long weekend with Michel Thomas, what would happen is that the guy would walk out, really impressing people with what he had learned. But I do think that if he doesn't touch that language again for a few months, he does forget, he or she. So if you really have to become fluent, there has to be some motivation. And that's what gets you going at it all the time. What do you think?
Definitely. Yep.
And motivation is something a teacher can't really give you. I can't convince you that this is a great language to learn. That has to happen to you on your own, you know?
Sounds good. Thank you, by the way, for taking the time.
Oh, it was such a pleasure, really.
I had fun.
Did both of you ever do something together before this?
We've been in touch, but we've never collabed. So hopefully this is the first of many collaborations.
Okay, so you've never learned a language together in the same
Oh,
session?
no, definitely not. This is our first experience to see the other person live as they absorb new vocabulary.
As they learn.
Yeah.
Great. So that was really a first. I'm so glad it was with Hindi.
Definitely. So thank you very much. And what's thank you to wrap it up that we can.
Well,
you said you could just say thank you.
You always have three answers to this kind of question, because one would be the Perso-Arabic tradition. That would be shukriya. Sounds like shukran in Arabic. Then there would be the more Sanskritized version, which is dhanyavad. And then there's the easiest way out, which is thank you.
But shukriya.
That's good enough. Shukriya.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Later.
Bye, David.